This is the Retro Inc. podcast. Welcome back. Welcome back to Retro Inc. podcast with myself, Adam, and co-hosts Jeremy.
Hello there.
And Andy.
Brat, brat, brat.
Welcome. How are you guys? How was your Christmas, first of all?
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's all right.
It was, yeah, got some presents for the children and they were very happy.
What did you get from your children?
A BB-8 picture, frame picture thing.
Nice.
And a Game Boy mug that changes when you put tea in it. It turned on.
It turned into Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Andy, what was your Christmas presents this year?
Well, my nice new microphone that we are using right now. A nice boom arm, a pop shield. I haven't set all of that up. I got a nice little gaming book, retro gaming book called Game Over or Game On. It's just a nice little compendium of classic retro gaming.
Wonderful.
So you can have a little sit and read through that. Couple of little bobblehead Funkos, the little ones, the minis. Yeah, that was it really. But I bought a new mixer for myself as my Christmas present. But again, when I find out how to use it, we will. So.
Well, I did admire it earlier because it's a thing of beauty, that.
It is, isn't it?
It
Hopefully
is.
soon we'll start sounding more professional.
Well, that'll happen once I leave.
Well, it can only sort out the quality, not the content. So unless I turn it all the way down, then it'll sound better, won't it?
Yeah, I was going to say that the only real news that we have is the sad news once again that HMV stores are going into administration. And I did go into one store this week, actually 2 days ago, and I was really very depressed by the amount of people that was in HMV. And the deals that we're doing, they're kind of, even though they were doing these great deals, they still weren't on par with what we can get online, which is, I guess, why things are very difficult. Neither of us, I don't think, got anything from many of those kind of stores over Christmas, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, my book came from there. My little Funko come from there. I bought my wife something from there. The Sabrina the Teenage Witch 7 series box set that she wanted. So yeah, I see what your point though. I love being a douche. That is actually all true. But on that note, we did talk about this. We spoke about it yesterday.
We have actually bought things from your stores.
Yeah. I see. I'm a lover of it because I do prefer going in and seeing things. Like this mixer, for instance. Like you said, if there'd have been a Maplins, I could have walked in and had a play, had a look. And I had to buy that on Amazon and take a real punt. You know, it was one of those where I don't really know what I'm buying wholly. I understand what a mixer is and I've used them before. But when I'm buying one for myself for us to use going forward, is this the right one? I don't know. And I'm dropping some notes on that I'd rather be having it in my hands to have a look at before I buy it. But on the note of that, I mean, I bought those things were bought for me from HMV because I think my wife was just, walking about and happened to walk past and go, yeah, really like that, The Sabrina box set was because that was kind of a last minute purchase for me because she said she wanted it and I knew they had it in there. Had I have got it from Amazon, it was £5 cheaper. And if I've got Amazon Prime, which I have, I could have got it delivered the next day. So it wouldn't have really made any difference. It was just impulse that I was just walking past and I thought, sod it, why not? It's only a £5. But I think that's a rare exception because generally through the year, I don't buy anything anyway from Amazon or from HMV. I don't have physical media. A lot of it, most of what I watch is streaming or acquired or borrowed, and I don't buy it. So this was one of those rare occasions where it was just like, I'm just going to buy it. So I'm not making up their profit there. I'm not the people they need to target. Like you say, it's the ones that are going back every day. You know, you sit with like Sanjay on the Nerd Room. I mean, he buys so many DVDs and so many still cases and still books. If he's buying them from a shop, they're the people they need to target. But when he can buy it online for half the price, that's where these places are failing. And it's not their fault. They have rates, they have staff, they have all these other overheads that online retailers don't have. To the same scale, obviously Amazon has staff in their warehouses, but a lot of it's automated now as well. So it's a real shame to see this happen again with HMV, but they needed to change their business model 10 years ago. And now it's too late. And I honestly don't see them coming out of the other side of this, because this is the second time now, isn't it?
It is. And the spokesman was talking to an analyst who was just saying, well, you know what, their website and their online presence isn't particularly great, and that's probably one reason why things have not gone particularly well for
do they gift wrap their online presence?
I would have thought they do. No.
Yeah.
So let's have a little roundup, I think, guys, on the year which was 2018. Jeremy, let's start with you, mate, because I know you've made some extensive notes of your highs, lows, and what you've been watching and everything. So let's go to you first, dude, and let's hear it.
Well,
I've for you in the cinema.
I can tell you, I've done a list, a comprehensive one. Now, as you know, I've got unlimited cards. I go on as often as I want. Otherwise, I wouldn't have seen half of these. I watched The Crimes of Grindelwald, Bohemian Rhapsody, Tomb Raider, Ready Player One, The Commuter, Three Billboards, Downsizing, The Last Maze Runner even, Black Panther, Shape of Water, Lady Bird, I, Tonya, The Meg, Game Night, Blockers, I Kill Giants, Death Wish, Rampage, Avengers, The Life of the Party, Deadpool 2, Solo, Fallen Kingdom, Ocean's 8, Tag, Skyscraper, The Predator, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Spy Who Dumped Me, Happy Time Murders, Venom, Halloween, and Aquaman.
I think that deserves a round of applause, Andy, don't you think? Seriously?
No, not really.
I put some commitment in there.
Fair.
You've got a place of jealousy.
Well, it's like £17 a month.
Well, that has got to be, hasn't it, the best advertisement for a Cineworld card.
Yeah, and I don't mean to plug Cineworld because there's a lot of things that ain't great, but I also get, because I've had it for over a year, 25% off of the concession, so I buy a massive pot of
so you have to sell
well.
one kidney before you go in there.
My kidneys are no good to anyone, to be fair.
Thinking after all those cokes.
Yeah.
Wow, mate, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
I have to say, some of these movies were actually quite good. There's a lot of pants ones.
Of that list, your particular highlights were?
I think the highlights would be ones that I enjoyed more than I expected to.
That's what highlights are.
Well, no, because I could say my highlight would be Infinity War, but I knew I'd like that. So I really enjoyed the new Halloween. Was brilliant. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I still want to say.
I really enjoyed Predator. I know that most people didn't, but they're boring. Tag was really good. That's a really fun film.
Do you know, it's only recently that I learned tag means touch and go.
I've literally just learned that.
Yeah, it's blown my mind when I found out.
Yeah, no. What else was good?
Otherwise,
I quite enjoyed.
I've done a bit of touching and going. I got in trouble.
It says that on your ankle bracelet.
I enjoyed Rampage. I Kill Giants was brilliant. I really enjoyed. Game Night was really good.
That looked good.
It's really good fun. The Meg was just silly fun. And the Three Billboards is brilliant. That's a really, really good movie. That's one. And Bohemian Rhapsody. That's a good movie. So they'll be the ones that I wouldn't have enjoyed. I didn't think. I thought, well, they're the ones I wouldn't have paid to go and watch.
Yeah, you could have been a couple of years before you got round to watching them. Those sort of movies, yeah.
They're really good. I mean, down points would be the most disappointed one, probably the Grindelwald one, because I was hoping it would redeem itself, but it just wasn't that good. It's all right, but yeah, Ready Player One was fun. I know that Andy doesn't like it. But...
Yes, you're right. It was fun.
and Andy left.
So those movies that you saw, which you were surprised about, certainly, they're movies for people to really give a go on streaming places like Amazon Prime and Netflix when they come, because obviously we've missed those now. So
a lot of them are on Netflix. I know that I Call Giants is on Netflix, and that's really, really good. You should definitely give that a watch.
There's the man who likes Ready Player One.
Yeah, but I also like Infinity War. So
going to the small box in your room, what have you streamed and what have you been watching over the year that's really caught your eye and you thoroughly enjoyed?
Well, I can tell you movies I've watched this week through recording them off the telly and Netflix and Amazon. I've had a big old week. I've watched Nightbreed, Congo, Terminator 2, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Yeah, recorded that. Hatchet, Seven Brides, Seven Brothers. I watched...
go home to Barney, Gene. Go home to Barney.
Love that movie. I watched Train to Busan and the prequel Soul Station, Raiders of the Lost Ark, A Christmas Horror Story, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Muppet Christmas Carol, 48 Hours, Dog Soldiers, and these last three are terrible. Spiders 3D, Gallow Walkers, and Thirst. They were really bad movies.
Where did you watch Dog Soldiers?
I recorded it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I recorded it for telly. Yeah, I recorded it. I've got it on DVD, but I don't know where any of my DVDs are. So when I do a weekly...
that film.
That's brilliant.
I know.
I do a weekly thing where I sit there and I go for all the Sony Movies for Men, the Horror Channel, and Channel 4, do a day at a time and just click on loads of things to record. But also with Sky, I'm sure other services do the same. If you record a certain movie, it'll go, oh, you must like these. You just record a load of random ones as well. So I kind of get someone go, what's that? And I'll probably half these turn up. But yeah, some of them were really good. The TV shows, Doctor Who I've enjoyed, but, stay there, Andy. Don't run off. But I don't watch a massive amount of TV. I've started watching Fleabag.
Oh, that's all right.
Phoebe Waller. Yeah, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I've only seen a couple of episodes, but they've been really good.
They have indeed. I caught that show as well, and for American listeners, you could probably catch that. I think was that a BBC show?
It's on Amazon.
All right.
Amazon Prime.
Okay. I was thinking maybe it was on the BBC when it was initially released. Anything else that's sort of caught your eye over the past year that stands out for you? I mean, we've had lots of things going on in the world of pop culture and various things. You should be saying that you joined Retro Inc. That should be your highlight.
Yeah, really.
The highlight of you being allowed to be on this show, obviously.
Allowed.
And you fine gentlemen.
Buddy.
Jeremy, you're right now.
Really couldn't. I'd have killed him by now if it had just been us two. So, he gets all defensive. Look, he gets all upset. It takes it personally.
It's hard to assassinate someone down the internet.
That's why you got to watch out for that man that's standing right behind you.
Yeah, he's come to look at the cathedral.
Look, he's trying not to turn around now. He's getting quite worried.
So yeah, what other things have sort of stood out in the news, in film, TV, retro gaming, whatever, has really sort of stood out for you this year?
Looking that China is now the biggest market for movies since overtaken America this year. I didn't know that. That's part of my homework today I've done.
No, sorry, right. You saying homework? When did we get given this homework?
Since last week. Now,
last week when you said what we were going to do, I thought, well,
was I drunk last week?
We both were.
Well, then how am I supposed to know that?
Well,
I haven't
you
even
listened to
listened
the
to
show.
podcast. No, I haven't, because I haven't got Bluetooth in my new van. In my van that's broken.
So did you not have to get it ready for the show?
I don't listen to it.
I wouldn't if I were you.
Jeremy, the interesting thing, isn't it, that that Aquaman was first released in China, and I always thought, well, if you're going to release a film anywhere to avoid bootlegging, China has got to be first on the list, hasn't it?
I don't know much about bootlegging because I don't stream anything.
Well,
I'm a
if
good
you
boy
did,
like that.
and I have in the past found various ways of watching things, as Andy knows, as well. You know, regularly it's a Chinese copy, and obviously the laws in China are very strange when it comes to copying anything. But yeah, it's a phenomenal thing, isn't it? The way that the Chinese have really embraced film going, movie going, and the cinema. And
Releasing in China doesn't seem to have affected its budget. It's doing all right, isn't it?
it certainly has.
Ironically, because it's not all that.
Well, there you go, Andy, man.
Yeah, mate. Hey, yeah.
Your list of movies, I would have thought from this year, which has been the major highlight, would have been
Gotta make stuff up.
Avengers
Make stuff up.
before.
Make stuff up.
But what else is apart from Avengers this year? What's really stood out for you?
Starting this podcast, mate, that was good. We did that in May, so that was the highlight. When did Solo come out? That was last year, wasn't it?
No, it's this year.
I saw that this year. That was pretty good. That beat expectations. I really wish I'd known we had this homework. I started watching Stranger Things again. That's pretty good. It's been a bit of a poo year, to be honest with you, with regards to a lot of things for me. We had some good films, but I've been let down by a lot, to be honest with you. I feel like it's just one of those where there just should have been more to me. Like, that list you even reeled off, Jeremy, there's one or two gems in there, but generally, there's just, was Justice League this year or last year? That was last year, wasn't
Last year, yeah, last year.
It was all downhill since then.
Well, when I was going through my list, I was thinking a lot of these I've just watched the once, and being a massive movie whore, and I have to watch movies loads of times. There's not many of these that I would say I'm going to keep going back and rewatching them.
That's my point. There's no real gems there. There's one or two, like say Infinity War and Solo, which are obviously great movies, but I've not seen anything this year. I mean, apart from They Live, which is probably one of the movies, like you say, the highlights of my year was watching that and going, I've missed out on this for so long. Otherwise, I go through the certain sites that I go through to watch stuff on, and usually I'm championing at the bit and go, oh, that's on. And there's been nothing. I keep going back. I haven't even seen Ant-Man and the Wasp because I've just been a little bit disillusioned with, I don't know. It's probably me with my viewing habits have changed. Maybe it's doing this and the work I've been doing. It's just taken me away from that TV screen. And it's only the other night when I was setting up some bits and bobs for the podcast, I was doing some bits for the website and that I thought, I'm going to put something on. And I thought, sod it, I'm just going to put on Stranger Things because I know it. And then I found myself 3 episodes in, glued to the TV. And I've started to enjoy that again. So I'm trying to reintegrate myself, I think, a little bit. I'm just trying to get myself back into my viewing habits and actually enjoy stuff rather than be distracted by everything else, and probably take an hour out of every day, to just sit and watch something. But
maybe 2019 is the year of catch up for you then, just to sort of
I hope so, mate.
Some of the things that you've missed. Let's go through some of the things.
Like, going back to that, even that's a fair point, is that even the Marvel things on Netflix, I haven't watched Daredevil season 2. I've got no interest in watching season 3. Mm-hmm. I haven't watched Punisher, and these are all things that a year ago I really wanted to see, and there's just nothing in me that's exciting me to go and watch them.
The Punisher's pretty good. We should watch Punisher.
I know. I'm sure I'd love it, but I just don't. There's just something that is stopping me from doing it, and I'm trying to work out what it is at the moment. But Who knows?
Well, there's always one, isn't there?
It's always me.
Well, let's just go through a little list of various highlights and sad news that we've had through 2018. We lost the legend that is Stan Lee.
Hmm.
And from Star Wars, we lost Gary Kurtz. But on more positive notes, we had Avengers Infinity War, we had Black Panther, we had Ready Player One, we had Jurassic World, we had Solo. And for all of Disney's successes in 2018, they certainly had at least one major misfire, which was Solo, a Star Wars story. And the debate still rages over whether the film's underperformance was due to its release date. Do you still think that, guys? That perhaps...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without,
That's all it is,
and
mate.
not only that, is that Freddie didn't ask for any Star Wars stuff because there's no Star Wars right up to Christmas. When Star Wars is a Christmas thing, I know originally it was summer, but in the last few movies being Christmas, you get that whole build-up of excitement of toys, and I think they just really dropped the ball there, which is a shame because it's such a good movie.
The fact remains, though, that 392.9 million worldwide is the lowest worldwide gross for a Star Wars movie ever. And let's face it, mate, your opinion of this year, Andy, would have been a lot different if we were leading up to the fact that you would probably have gone to the cinema maybe 3 or 4 times since its release on, say, the 22nd of December. You would have probably said, I've seen Solo now 4 times, 5 times at the cinema over Christmas, which, let's face it, would have been amazing. But, nearly 400 million is nothing to scoff at. And if you consider the film probably cost, 200 million alone, not including P&A, that's not bad, really.
Oh, no, it costs a lot more than that, Solo, mate. And that's because of all the reshoots, wasn't it?
Well, there you go. See,
It's the most
broken even,
expensive ones, mate.
Well, this was the problem with Solo, through and through. It doesn't matter about the content. It's in circles of people we know. I'd say the majority, a vast majority, love that film, myself included. And I was one of those. We didn't need it. I still stick to my guns on that. We did not need it, but that doesn't stop it from being a great film. We don't need every film that's ever made because we don't need them. They don't, move us forward as human beings, but it's an enjoyable film, and that's all that matters. And we don't need it, but it's a great film. And the only trouble with it is it cost too much to make and didn't make as much as they wanted. And those two met in the middle and created this flop. And I'm using air quotes because I don't believe that it is a flop. But that is all it created. It was an increased budget and less bums on seats. And the bums on seats is down to it was sandwiched between all those other movies. And it was a stupid time to release it. Bring it out at Christmas. What has come out this Christmas that's made impacts apart from Aquaman?
Well, let's go into that a little bit later on. Only The Empire Strikes Back, though, has had a lower domestic gross, and that's before accounting for inflation. So, yeah, it's safe to say that Solo was somewhat disastrous for Lucasfilm Disney, but I think every fan who's seen Solo absolutely loved it. Along with Solo was also Fantastic Beasts, Predator, and Venom. And when the first trailers for Venom were mocked pretty widely all over the notoriously good-natured and super polite World Wide Web, I think at the end of the day, when the audience went to see Venom, they ate it up, and making Sony Pictures its first non-Spider-Man movie a rousing success. And the film grossed a towering 851 million worldwide, and with 75% of that total coming from international audiences and probably China. And while the film's 212 million domestic total, maybe the slight low end of the superhero blockbusters, Wonder Woman grossed, I think, 415 million domestic. Just in China alone, Venom has grossed a pretty big packet for Sony. Halloween, Bohemian Rhapsody, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and 2 of my favourites, Hereditary and A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place came out pretty much out of nowhere, didn't it? With Emily Blunt and the John Krasinski fronted horror film, exploded right out the gate with a massive 50 million opening weekend.
Well, that was a good film. Quiet Place.
Cracking film. That will be coming, I would have thought, to Netflix fairly soon, as it's obviously going to be taking some revenue in via iTunes movies, etc. It's a really brilliant movie, and Halloween, which came out in October, certainly did a pretty amazing job of taking some money. But A Quiet Place just kept dominating over the weekends in April, as most franchise films are cleared out to make way for Avengers: Infinity War. Quiet Place, I think, it eventually grossed over 340 million worldwide, which is pretty damn good. Deadpool 2 was released this year. Mary
Oh, that
Poppins
was all right.
2.
Yeah, now you reminded me of 2018. It weren't too bad, actually.
Annihilation was released in cinemas very quickly and briefly, but went on to Netflix, and that's a cracking bit of sci-fi. First Man, which was supposed to be a thing, is the next. It was the film released by Oscar-winning La La Land director Damien Chazelle, which, let's face it, I don't think any of us have seen La La Land, and if we have, we probably didn't enjoy it. American hero Neil Armstrong, with the US's mission to the moon, brought life in stunning detail, yet the film didn't make much money at all, or even a mark on most people's film lists. Venom and Halloween turned out to be probably the biggest hits in October of this year, and obviously Black Panther has done extremely well at nominations for Oscars and whatever else, and it really should do. Incredibles 2, Jeremy, did you go and see that?
No.
Honey, where is my super suit?
A Star is Born has done very well at the box office. Black Klansman, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is, I think, phenomenal, and everyone should see it. Aquaman, and Mission Impossible Fallout. You guys, did you go and see that movie?
Oh yeah, all the time. I've seen it 15 times. No, of course I haven't seen it.
I'm going to sit here quietly and eat these Caramac buttons as to not offend Jeremy.
Yeah, I won't be offended. Have you seen it? Is it a good movie?
No, I haven't seen it, but you're just being horrible because it's got Tom Cruise in it.
No, I watched the first one, and they killed off Emilio Estevez straight away. And
terrible movie. No, because I'm on your side with this, because I watched the first one, and Mr. Phelps being the bad guy is like making a James Bond film and having M or Q be the bad guy. It's not right. You wouldn't do that. To me, that really upset me, that film. I was like, why have you turned Phelps into the bad guy here? That's making Charlie's Angels and having Bosley try and kill him. That's ridiculous, and it ruins what we know and love. I watched Mission Impossible 2, and I was like, it's not too bad. 3 I really enjoyed because it is stupid John Woo action movie. I mean, if you watch the motorbike scene at the end, there's like 23 tyre changes that are quite clearly visible, and that's ridiculously over the top, and it's fun for that. But as they progress, they're actually really, really good action movies. Take away the Mission Impossible title if you want to, and just watch them for what they are, and they're great spy films. And you really should give them the time, and because obviously you can get it through context and that you haven't got to watch the others. You could probably turn on Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol and really enjoy it for what it is. You know who he is, you know what they are. I'd give him a go if I were you, mate. Give him a bit of a chance.
I tell you what I did. There was a Fast and Furious movie on yesterday, and I caught a bit of that. Actually looked quite fun.
What one?
It might have been 7, I think. Had Jason Statham in it as the bad guy.
Right, okay. Yeah, okay.
And
they are good fun, mate.
This is still alive, so.
This is what I said to you. They are just good fun. That's what you just got to go into them and go, I'm just going to switch my brain off and watch stupid over-the-top action scenes.
Did you not see my list? My brain switched on most of the year. Very rarely do I actually switch it on when I'm watching the movie.
Fair point.
One movie that didn't have any kind of hype at all was a movie called Crazy Rich Asians, which impressed in a very different way. This romantic comedy opened above expectations.
Sounds like my browsing history.
I knew you were going to say something like that. I honestly managed to see this film, and it's absolutely wonderful, and I highly advise seeing that film. We've had some incredible events that have happened over 2018. Events which included Roseanne Barr, and we all know why Roseanne spiked at number 1. It wasn't
Elon Musk sent that car into space with a van in it.
Show. Roseanne Barr became the first high-profile casualty of the 2018 Twitter wars due to her penchant on tweeting. And we had James Gunn fiasco.
You mean her penchant of being a racist bigot?
Yeah, we had Kevin Hart also went on to regret their poor
being a homophobe.
Tweets.
Yeah. All lovely people.
We had Well, we've had another great thing that also popped up this year on streaming, which was Altered Carbon, the high concept sci-fi, which I must admit I thoroughly enjoyed. It's a real surprising gem, a very complex story set in a Blade Runner-ish world where identity is more complex than the body that they inhabit. It's a real blend between Westworld and Ghost in the Shell, and it's really fantastic. The Haunting on Hill House, which I know, Jeremy, you didn't really get into, but the story really is fantastic and highly advisable if you like that kind of thing. We had Lost in Space.
I tried. I
Reboot.
did try.
Yeah, you give it a go. Now, I would say that actually Lost in Space is something that really you should check out. It doesn't boast a particularly impressive Rotten Tomatoes score, but audiences and critics don't tend to sort of share the same taste, and neither do we, quite frankly. But Netflix, of course, still keeps their numbers very secret. But seeing how the show is on Google's most searched list, the series must have done pretty well with binge watchers. And this is a really, really, really good Robbie the Robot. And I would really, highly recommend that.
And that's what we're here for, because we all have these opinions on things, don't we?
We do.
But they don't matter. And I agree with you that Rotten Tomato scores do not matter, because there are films that I like that are absolute dross, but I enjoy them because they are. However, I do put some stock into it when there's a real shift, when it's one end or the other. Yeah, I kind of, you have to give it a little bit of gravitas to that score, because I don't know if you've seen, the Sherlock Holmes one, Holmes and Watson?
Oh, yes.
The John C. Reilly is sitting at 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I know full well that's probably, okay, it's not 0, but I know I'm going to watch that and think, this is crap. So, but I agree. I mean, I haven't seen Lost in Space, but I'm sure it's great.
It really is very, very good. This is one for the younger guys who are massively into YouTube. The young chap Logan Paul got himself into a load of trouble this year, and he managed to be one of the most obnoxious personalities on a platform where obnoxiousness has evolved into an art form. It's really quite
that's why we're doing so
impressive, and judging from his place on Google's list, being deeply unpleasant doesn't seem to have done him any harm at all. Bill Cosby got into the news, and we're not really going to go into that. Sylvester Stallone, impressively consistent franchise Rocky change with the times by evolving into Creed, and this year Sylvester Stallone decided
what do you think of that?
Time to retire his iconic character.
I think that's a really clever move.
I think it's
there, because
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet, but what I've heard critically is the first one's very good and the second one ups the game. And I think it's time to just leave it there. Creed 2, leave that there, and now go back into, let's have a look at what Rambo's
doing. Doing the last Rambo, isn't he?
Yeah. I think it's best to end on a high note, and passing the torch on to the talented Michael B. Jordan is a very good thing. Stallone had portrayed the character for more than 40 years, believe it or not. And the story of these films cleverly incorporated the actor's age while retaining the central themes of hope and perseverance. But you never know. The most consistent thing about Rocky is that he's never really done. We've also had, obviously, Michael B. Jordan do extremely well with his other hit, obviously Black Panther. So I'm sure
I thought you meant
next
Fantastic
year
Four.
he'll be sort of making something else rather amazing. We had the Disney Plus streaming service announcement, and then we had Netflix cancelling a lot of Marvel shows. Now, one thing Disney Plus is going to be pushing is the Mandalorian series, which I'm sure we'll all be signing up for at least the first couple of months just to give that a go and see.
Don't interest me, you, Jeremy? No.
I'd pay enough for stuff.
I'm in the Mandalorian. I'm not really that bothered about it.
I'd be interested in watching it. Of course, I'm interested in watching it, but I'm not going to buy a Disney streaming service based on that.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to sign up, and I will be giving you a blow-by-blow, week-by-week account of what this thing is going to be like. And
see, the thing is, he needs to have Amazon Prime, because even charity shops don't sell the sort of dross that he likes to watch. He has to pick it up off of Amazon Prime, because Amazon Prime is so bad that it's the only place that he can get those terrible films.
I gave you a list of amazing movies
Yeah,
as well.
let me just
8
tell
movies.
you this,
Well, that was just the
yesterday,
first lot that came up.
No, they're terrible. I went on there. Half of those you'd already said I put on my watch list, and I'd already seen them. There is nothing on that, and the UI is atrocious.
Yesterday,
Not
I
a fan.
went into a charity shop, okay, and I pulled out from the
Herding
rack
cats.
I think it was the 35th or 30th anniversary edition of Flash Gordon on DVD, and I pulled out Blazing Saddles special edition on DVD. They wanted £3.50 each for those in a
Badges.
charity shop.
We don't need
That
no
was-
stinking badges.
They were pretty pricey. Lucifer fans got the cancelled show back onto Netflix with a huge push for that TV show to get re-signed up with a streaming service, and that just shows how not just how wonderful that show Lucifer is, but just how important that actually fandom is in support of a TV show like that. For me, Retro Inc. as a podcast starting in May was a particular massive highlight, and then becoming a member of the Star Wars Commonwealth Podcast Network was really huge. And then, of course, Jeremy joins in. We also had the Facebook group.
Downhill from there, I know.
I say the down points was having to deal with me weekly, and then you turned up, and that's it. He don't want to know anymore. And this is the point where he hands his resignation in live.
Yeah. But my personal 2018 highlights was started in January of this year when at the O2 there was the Prince Experience, which showed a lot of his clothing and a lot of his lyrics and everything else. And that was a really amazing thing. The Last Starfighter and Battle Beyond the Stars was released onto iTunes. Immediately bought those. That was a huge thing, getting those movies digitally. Of course, starting the Richard podcast was huge. And one of the other things that I've done many a time this year is meeting up at various places with Andy.
What are you going to say here, mate? We're not going to talk about that.
And of course, Jeremy and meeting the kids up, and then meeting another famous YouTuber, Dan TDM, with the children. That was a really incredible thing.
I only learnt the other day that stands for the Diamond Minecart. I thought it was Team Deathmatch.
Oh.
I thought he was really cool, and then I realised he was a Minecraft YouTuber, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
he's done all right out of it.
He's done all right.
Highest paid YouTube star this year, Dan TDM, above PewDiePie and everyone else. Yeah, I saw it the other day. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it is a ridiculous amount of money, but
you could have at least bought your lunch.
Hard at what they do, which is
no, he didn't even do that.
No, it's rude, isn't it?
Well, along with the Prince exhibition at the O2, which
he's got his camera off, and I can know that behind there he's gritted his teeth.
Purple Rain was also shown on its anniversary, and that was also 2 years after Prince's passing. I've done a couple of Comic Cons this year, and I've done some stewarding and working behind the scenes, which was fascinating and really awesome. And as again, Retro Inc. joining the Commonwealth Podcast Network was a huge highlight of my year. And another one for me personally was sort of finishing off a lot of Star Wars 77 to 85 vintage Star Wars collecting, and getting some really beautiful things, and getting some figures graded by UKG was something that I never thought I'd do, but
is that all UKG or is it UKG?
UKG,
West Side. Stains massive.
We've had some really awesome Hot Toys releases this year as well. My two particularly being Hoth Leia and Return of the Jedi Luke. We've had some Black Series releases, which have been pretty cool. We've had the Darth Vader helmet being one of the highlights. Hereditary was a big one for me in terms of movie going, because that was totally unexpected. I didn't think I would like that film quite as much, and it really put an imprint on my head. How good a suspense horror film like The Shining could be. I know there was a lot of promotion about this is the scariest horror film of all time since The Exorcist, blah blah blah, but actually this is more Shining than anything else. Ready Player One, I just thought was absolutely stunningly beautiful at the cinema. Annihilation, it's got nothing to do with the book. We know it's got a slight attachment.
Pass me some of that, please, Jeremy, because I need it to get through this.
But it was a
Talking
really,
about.
really beautiful film. Music-wise, this year, the Prodigy's new album "No Tourist" is a must-have for your CD collection. Go down to HMV before that closes. And the Muse album "Simulation Theory," if you like a little
Retro
bit of...
CD collection.
Well, exactly. The Muse album "Simulation Theory" is a very 80s inspired album, which I would highly recommend. But yeah, you know what, mate? I think one of the biggest highlights for me personally was absolutely meeting up with the two of you at Bella Pasta. Absolutely wonderful, and it was just great to really hook up, three of us. I absolutely adored that moment.
Say hook up. It makes it
You
sound
know
a
what
little
I'm
bit more
saying.
seedy.
I got to say that as well. I've met some really wonderful people at Comic Cons, and Nicholas, who is a member of our podcast group, who is actually a judge, as in Dread, as a cosplayer, was really cool. Meeting up with him and getting him to join our group. But it has been a pretty awesome year, I think, for fandom. We've had some awesome movies released. I mean, really, I think we have. It's a shame that you don't quite sort of get, haven't got out to the cinema quite as much as you wanted to. And I know you really wanted to see Halloween, didn't you? But
I did, mate. It's just time and money, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
I know.
think the cinema is expensive. I only really go on my own, to be honest, so it's a lot of time. And when I get home from work and I've sat there and I maybe edited a bit of this, done that, it's 10 o'clock. I can't be bothered because I know I'm going to fall asleep in the cinema. What's the point? I try. My personal hobbies, like doing this podcast and when I edit and when I game or when I watch TV, like films for me, I always do it when it doesn't affect my home life. I always try to keep that separate because I want to spend time with my wife and my daughter. And there's only so many hours in the day I do, and that's why I burn the candle at both ends. I know I get up for work at 6 a.m. Some mornings I go to bed at 2 because I'm spending that time doing my things because I like my personal time. If the cinema was open at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday night, then maybe I'd get there more often, but it's not, and that's the problem. It's about the balance and trying to fit those things in. So maybe that's one of my little New Year's resolutions. Try and do a few more things for this because it's okay sitting there trying to critique things. Maybe sometimes it works better when you're impartial because you haven't seen it and you're just going on what you've heard. But I don't know. I've just got to spend a bit more time at the grindstone watching some stuff. Oh, hardship. Sit down on my butt and watch a film.
So let's go forward to our hopes and ambitions, expectations for 2019. I mean, right at the very end of next year, we have episode 9. We've got Captain Marvel, we've got Avengers Endgame, we've got the new series of Game of Thrones, we have Alita Battle Angel, and we've got obviously Disney Plus with The Mandalorian. But Andy, you wanted to throw a question at myself and Jeremy. And out of that kind of list, is there anything else that you'd like to add to that? Oh, we haven't really talked about some of the gaming news over the past year, but we can get into that a little bit later.
Honestly, mate, I think with gaming, I don't think we have to go too far. We've had a lot of big games, and that's because we're at that point in the life cycle. Like I said before, we're getting all the best stuff. This is where they now know what they're doing with the systems. They're just getting it out there. We've got Red Dead, we've got our Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, we've got our... all of these,
5.
Yeah, all of these big AAA. I mean, they're even talking about these
massive
quadruple A games now that are being made. Everything we've heard about in the last 2 years at E3, etc. I think the big names are going to be next gen systems. Next year is going to be so quiet. It really is. We haven't got PlayStation now. We've only got Microsoft at E3. They're going to own that, and that's going to be them talking about the way forward. They might announce Scarlet there, but I don't think they will. I think we're going to be seeing next year is going to be real downtime, and E3 2020 is going to kick off big time, and we are just not going to be able to keep up with gaming news. Next year is going to be quiet. That's my prediction now. And talking of predictions, and that is the question I was going to throw to you two. I've got, I've had a thought about next year and the things that come in, and the list you've just given me is far superior in content straight off the bat than this year has been. I know you said some of the films that have come out this year, and in hindsight, yes, it has been an okay year. But you're talking about Endgame, Episode 9. I mean, for a start, those two there are essentially the final parts of their stories.
The biggest hit of the summer, the biggest hit of the winter.
The winter, and then we've got we've got all these other films coming out left, right, and centre. Disney next year. There's just I saw at one point there is like literally a film or two films every month for 6 or 7 months coming out from Disney, and they are big films. We've got Frozen 2 coming out. You've got the Marvel films. You've got the Star Wars films. It's ridiculous. There's more Pixar films coming out as well. Toy Story 4. And my prediction, one of them was, and this is probably going to rock the boat with some people, but I feel like it's time. Not time that I want it to happen, but I feel like it's time that Marvel are going to fall on their own sword a little bit. And I think that Endgame is going to critically be it's going to do a Last Jedi. It's going to be critically diverse. And I think that it's going to split fandom down the middle. And I think there's going to be a lot of people, because it's going to be the end of that chapter. It is the end game. And this is moving the Marvel universe forward now. And I can see this is going to be critically diverse, and it's going to upset a lot of people, and it's probably not going to make as much money in the long run as Infinity War. Of course, that opening weekend will be big. Of course, people will go see it. I'll be queuing up for midnight release. No doubt, hopefully with you two, if we can get that chance to do so. But I've got this real big feeling that give it 3 or 4, 5 days down the line of Endgame coming out, and there is going to be a lot of buzz on the internet of negativity, which we don't generally get with Marvel films. You know, it goes quiet. Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's not a big film, but it was never slated online. It was just, yeah, it's all right. I think it's going to do a DC effect with this one, where a lot of people are going to be annoyed because they're going to be setting up the future of Marvel going forward, this new phase, whatever you want to call it, because this is the end of what we know. On that prediction as well, the other day, Feige come out and said that he reckons that within 6 months' time, they will be able to start planning for the future with Fox Marvel films with regards to the MCU. I've got a feeling, and I said this to you before, that has already happened. They've already made those deals, because if Feige's coming out and saying that now, then there's things in place. If he's got enough, you know, behind him to make that statement public, then there's got to be some reason why he said it. And I think that they've already seen that, and that's what I'm saying. I think that when we get this end war, what is going to make it critically diverse is what happens in those end credit scenes, because in 6 months' time, when does Avengers come out? It's May, isn't it?
It is May.
Well, that's around 5 to 6 months' time, isn't it? So I've got this feeling that we're going to get something drop there at that end credit scene that's going to be big. It may be the Wolverine, maybe X-Men in that final credit scene, and that is where we're going to get a big announcement of the future of Marvel. And that is where this film is going to cut people down the middle, because I think it's going to change the tone quite drastically, and it could make or break the future of the Marvel movies as we know it now. I've also got another theory that episode 9 is going to be quite similarly received as The Last Jedi.
Right. Okay. In regards to Endgame, if you remember the Avengers moment when the camera pans round at the heroes and they're standing in New York and the camera pans round, I think in terms of the end credit scene, we're going to see something like a triangular shape with Captain Marvel right in the center, and the new heroes in some kind of pose, ready for whatever they're going to be going forward. And there's been a recent announcement that, well, a rumor announcement. Is it John Cena? Is his name John Cena, the actor?
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
The wrestler.
Possibly
the
playing.
wrestler.
Yeah, possibly playing the next Captain America. So,
well, on that, I think that you're right. I've got this feeling we're going to see that, and I think Captain Marvel is going to say "Avengers Assemble" when that happens. I think that's going to be kind of turning around to the audience and going, "This is it now.
Here we go.
This is the Avengers now. Whether you like it, do one or stay and watch the rest of it." And
don't you think, mate, that we aren't finished with the rumours yet of potential new heroes coming to light? Like we obviously know Captain Marvel, of course. We know that Black Panther is going to probably continue, but there's probably going to be some more actors being mentioned between now and then.
Yes, I think they're going to have to fill a void.
Fringe Marvel characters that we've seen in comic books over the last 25, 30 years that are going to be featuring, and I think that's where we might see some pretty amazing surprises.
And that's where I think where it's going to be diverse in its opinion, because I've got this feeling that they are going to be really good with this. This is what I want to see, and I've got a feeling Marvel are not going to hold back, and they are going to get rid of a lot of people. I think they're going to get rid of Captain America, and I really think they're going to get rid of Tony Stark, whether that be in the capacity of Tony Stark being dead, or whether he's integrated into the AI like Jarvis and becomes that, and Iron Man is still a thing, but it's a suit, and you don't have to have Robert Downey Jr. on set. He can just read some lines and come back whenever he wants to do. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to really upset the apple cart with a lot of people being disbanded, especially with what's going on with Guardians and James Gunn and that. And I know they've got this new director on board, but what's going to happen after the snap is anyone's guess, because you don't have to bring people back. We've had Batista come out and be quite vocal of his hate for what happened with James Gunn. That I think Disney, we know they're ruthless. Look at what they did to Ed Norton with the Hulk. They turned around and went, well, how much money do you want? No, go and jog on, mate, and got rid of him because he thought, I can do this. They're going to want to keep me, and they didn't. And it's not the first time they've done this, and I don't think it'll be the last. They might turn around to Batista and say, we'll see you later then, because, okay, we all love Drax, but there's a million other things we like as well in this MCU, and we're still going to buy tickets.
Whatever happens in the theatres will be completely different to the comic books.
Of course.
Almost always has been. So where you might particularly kill off one particular character in the cinema doesn't make any difference in the comics. So, you know what?
It doesn't mean you can't bring them back either, mate. It's comic books.
Be absolutely spot on, mate. Absolutely spot on. We'll wait and see. I'll just go do my episode 9 thing before we go to Jeremy.
Can I just say I've got a prediction for Endgame, and that is that Adam will cry.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
It'll come up with the Marvel logo and just tears.
I think
like peeling onion.
Adam will cry, I think, if it's anything like The Last Jedi episode 9. I absolutely do not think there's going to be anything like that at all. I think JJ is definitely a man to have done the first and the last of these after the OT movies, and I totally think that we are going to be thrilled with episode 9. I absolutely have 100% faith.
See, I don't, right? Because I love JJ. I love everything JJ does until he tries to finish it.
I think he'll do.
Tell me something JJ has done that is ended right. Because I love Lost. I absolutely adore Lost, and I get the end. I had to read a 5,000 word bloody essay to understand the ending of Lost. Yeah,
trust me. I'm a Jedi.
I do trust you, mate. But the thing is, rose-tinted glasses for you, my friend, because I love you to bits and dearly. But honestly, they could label us turd with Star Wars on it, and you'd still buy it because it's got Star Wars written on it. And I understand your love for it and how deep that goes, and I respect that. I admire it, and I think it's great. But I'm willing to throw my oar in and say something negative about Star Wars when need be. And I know you can. I've seen you say stuff negative about Star Wars. I don't need a cuddle. I need JJ to do what JJ should be doing. And like I say, with Lost, it was fantastic. I kind of got what was going on, but I still had to read something to understand the ending of Lost. I wasn't as close-minded as a lot of people that went, it made no sense. There was a lot
of writers when it came to Lost.
There was a lot of issues, and I get that. But
it wasn't totally his
look at Cloverfield. It's a great film until the end where it just dwindles off into nothing.
He was a producer of Cloverfield. This is written and directed by, and I think that's a very, very different thing.
I'm still going open-minded.
Let's get rid of Andy for a minute because his pessimism is not good for my heart.
I'm just trying to put another perspective on this. If we all agreed, it would be called The Boring Podcast, wouldn't it? It'd be me and Steve back on again.
Jeremy, so your little Endgame thoughts on Andy's idea and theory.
I think that they're going to kill a lot of people off. They're going to bring a lot of people back, and the thing about franchises is that people get tired of them. They seem to want them to fail. I think they wanted The Last Jedi to fail.
That's a very British thing, though, isn't it?
But yeah, but it's an internet thing and it's a fanboy thing. People just seem to hate The Last Jedi for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Luke's drinking some green milk. But so what?
We saw him drink blue milk in the first one, and everyone loved it.
Exactly.
I also agree with you about the fanboy thing there, about wanting it to fail, because one of my biggest gripes with people being negative about The Last Jedi is too much Star Wars. There's too much Star Wars. I'm sorry, we've had just as many Star Wars films in the last 4 years as we've had Marvel films in the last year.
We've had just as many Star Wars films as we did in between 77 and 84, really.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
But it's just one of those where people moan about it, but they love the MCU and they go, oh yeah, but they're different. It's Black Panther. And no, they're all connected. They're all connected now, so much so that characters are joining over and crossing over onto these, that they are a cohesive story. So to turn around and say too many Star Wars films, you can't say that if you're not going to say it about the MCU. And that's my issue there with that.
Or
DC, yeah, but you can say that about DC. I've tried to wave the flag for them and be a ambassador, but that flag's getting heavy.
How do you feel? How do you feel Episode 9 is going to go?
I think that I'm not sure if it's going to be divisive, because I think all the internet keyboard warriors just won't watch it and they'll give it a bad score on Rotten Tomatoes and just go rubbish and just never watch it.
Or they don't get that. It, still do that, even if they enjoy it, mate.
And they refuse to enjoy it, and I just think it's a shame. I mean, there's a load of people that didn't watch The Last Jedi that slagged it off. If you don't fancy it, don't go and watch it. All these people who hated The Last Jedi, if you think Star Wars is dead for you, fine, don't go and watch the new one, but shut up. Just let the other people enjoy it.
That was spoken.
Well, almost everybody that I know who wouldn't class themselves as a Star Wars fan loved The Last Jedi. And other than
who was it was telling me the Ricky Gervais thing? Was it Rob? I think it might have been on Talk Star Wars or on his Mostly 14 or something about the, when you go into the shop and you see the postcard on the wall, it says like free Hoover. It's like you walk over to it, you pick it up, you go around the person's house and just shout at them, I don't want this. Yeah. That's what those people are doing. They are, it's like me going online and going onto a Made in Chelsea website and just start slagging it off. I've never watched it. I've got no interest in it. I'd probably hate it if I did watch it. So why am I going there?
Exactly. Yeah, totally. I don't get why people want to slag off a movie. If you don't fancy the movie, just don't watch it. Just shut up. There's a lot of things I don't want to watch. I don't watch reality TV. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch EastEnders. But I don't go, EastEnders is rubbish. It's just not for me. I don't want to watch it. So it's fine.
You'd be right in saying it is rubbish. I mean, there's a difference of quality there. I mean,
but
along with Game of Thrones, what we're going to get this year, do you think we're going to see this Lord of the Rings TV series coming this year?
No, I reckon that's a massive budget. It's going to take 2 years to sort that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2020. I think maybe the back end of 2020. If we're
and
lucky.
I think it needs to fill the void of Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. Because the new Game of Thrones stuff's not going to come out for a while.
Well, we've got the Wheel of Time coming out as well, apparently. I don't know if you read I think it's Robert Jordan books. Jeremy, you would love them, mate. You would absolutely adore them. They are a opus of, I think it's like 12 books, and they are ridiculously big. And it's very, very similar to Lord of the Rings, and it's been bought up by one of these companies to be made into a TV show. And that was done before the Lord of the Rings ones. But obviously there's not as much buzz about it because it hasn't got Lord of the Rings slapped on the title. But those two are going to be vying for that. But I think with Lord of the Rings, because it's Amazon, it's going to be on their platform. That's going to separate the two of them enough to get two different fan bases. But yeah, I'm with you. Game of Thrones is going to end. We're going to have next year to finish that off and everyone get over what the hell we've just seen, because it's going to be big. And then we're going to go into 2020, and I think there's going to be an announcement of it coming maybe fall that year all in that year, and that's when we'll get the Lord of the Rings series. And I'm hoping that Amazon do the right thing and release it weekly. Because I hate it when they release a show in one go when it's big.
See, that's the thing with Game of Thrones, or even Walking Dead when it was good, is that you've got a week to process it and to talk to everyone and your friends and family, if you've got any, that watched it.
You've got the anticipation of that next episode dropping,
and
the
you can't
ifs
have
and
it
the buts.
spoiled by some idiot who watched the old season in one day and go in the next day and say, oh, guess what? Daenerys ends up on the front. Oh, shut up. I've not seen it.
Yeah, I think they lose a lot of people that could potentially jump on board with these things as well, with people like us doing podcasts. No doubt when it comes out, me and you are going to be speaking a lot. Well, all three of us are going to be speaking a lot about it. And when you can break down an episode singly every week, we go, did you watch Game of Thrones this week? Oh, my God. Spoilers. Anyone that doesn't want to know, turn off now. We can talk about it for a bit. And you get listeners on board for us, and you get viewers on board, the people that might hang around and listen to it because they don't watch Game of Thrones and go, oh, this sounds all right, actually. They'll go and watch it, but they won't be too far back. Well, they will be now because it's about to end, but I'm talking in general. With, like, say, Lord of the Rings, we watch one episode and talk about that episode. You might get people go, I'm going to sign up for Amazon now and get that. That sounds all right. And then they can follow it with us. But when you release it all in one go, all we're going to say is, did you watch it all? Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? We'll talk about it for a bit, and that'll be it until the next series.
Also, it's harder to talk about 20 hours of TV.
Not for us.
But in one episode, it is, Yeah. But you can break down an episode a week, and it's perfect. There's still people that posting, and I'm really proud I've never watched an episode of Game of Thrones. Well, you're an idiot. Because it's the best TV show that's been around for years.
First of all,
getting excited about tomorrow's episode of the Doctor Who special?
Well, one of us is.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you getting very excited for it?
Yeah. Very excited. I'm really looking forward to it. Excited would be pushing it a little bit. I think it will be good. I have no idea. Well, the big bad is probably going to be a Dalek, unless they manage to dig up.
Well, did you see the trailer for this?
I've seen the trailer. There's the big bad, but they don't say who it is yet, do they?
No, they don't.
No, they didn't.
I think
she has been a remarkable new Doctor, though, don't you think?
I think she's great. Yeah, she's great fun.
I love Jodie Whittaker. She's actually making me want to watch it because I watched Attack the Block again the other day.
Yeah,
and she's lovely.
Yeah, in fact, we've all seen Attack the Block this week, haven't we? And not only is John Boyega's, I think his first movie appearance.
First,
yeah.
What an astounding start to his movie career, and she was phenomenal in that film.
I think Attack the Block shows what a good actor John Boyega is, because you couldn't be any further away from Finn in that role.
That's what I saw Attack the Block a long time before I saw Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And when I saw Force Awakens, my head was like, I recognise this guy. I didn't put two and two together. Yeah. And then I watched Attack the Block. It wasn't that long after I watched it again. I was like, well, blow me. I can't believe that. Yes, Moses, Jesus, it's Finn. And the penny, I was like, that is amazing. That shift of it, like you say, it really shows how the chops on that boy to be able to play this Southeast London youth yob. Like that, honestly, I see these guys on a weekly basis and they terrify me when I'm walking around the estates doing my job. And Finn,
and it was just a comedic character for most of it.
He's a nice guy as well, and he comes across like even his persona and his aura, in a sense, is genuinely an amiable sort of person in it. Like if you saw him, you'd go, all right. You saw Moses walking towards you, I'd be jumping in my van, locking the doors, and dialing 99, ready with the other. But it's good acting, mate. Really was good, that.
Crazily, but though, watching it and watching Jodie Whittaker in it, I did keep thinking, am I watching a Doctor Who episode? Because they're clearly something the BBC had watched that film and said, that's someone we really should be keeping an eye on.
She's done a lot of work for BBC, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has. But, you can really see how in that film she plays almost an investigative type character, and She's brilliant in it. Really,
Well,
really
she's a
brilliant.
nurse in it, isn't she? So I mean, she's
Yeah.
probably working for her doctorate.
She was. So, that's going to be something you're going to be watching on New Year's Eve, which is dropping tomorrow. What have you guys got planned for your New Year's celebrations? Anything at all?
Oh, you can eat buffet, mate.
Are you ready?
Oh.
You eat buffet?
There is a lovely place. I don't know if you know Chatham at all, Jeremy.
Born and bred from Medway, yes. I know Chatham very
you know
well.
Spoons?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, we are going to Spoons on tomorrow night. We book it for the last couple of years. We've booked it for New Year's Eve. It's an all-you-can-eat pan Asian cuisine, so it's like literally everything around the world. And they don't realise when I go there, it's not all I can eat. It's be all I can be. It's all they can make. All right, when I go there, I have this nickname of Andy 4 Plates. If I go to a buffet, unless I've had 4 plates, I ain't leaving. That's my minimum.
A gangster with that name.
Just saying, mate. Just saying.
But, 4 fingers.
Yeah, and then we're going to do that. We're going to come home. We're going to have a nice little fire in the garden. We're going to have some fireworks that I managed to pick up today. And then I'll be in bed by about 10:30. It's just the one time a year where I'm going to stay up till 12 with my daughter and we all fall asleep.
Will you go home and have spoons?
Not at all, mate.
Oh, okay. Jeremy, what's your plan for tomorrow night?
I am going to a family party where I shall probably sit in the corner and not talk to anyone.
You'll talk to us. No doubt you'll be messaging us the whole time.
Yeah, I will be messaging, yeah, but I'll probably be trying to avoid the music because it's a young person's house. And bless them, they're going to have a great time. And I'm just a miserable old curmudgeon sitting in the corner thinking, well, it's not from the 80s. I don't know what they're saying, moaning about the music.
It's all right. If they start to get a bit rowdy, ask them to put on some drill music. Yeah.
Well, apparently there's going to be a grime room.
Oh, well, if there's grime. Say, if there's grime, they ain't as hardcore as me. You want to get on the drill, that'll scare the crap out of them.
Is that the one where they just basically start fighting with each other?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, get the drill music on. There's a grime room. You really don't want to go to this, mate.
No, I'd like an erasure room, like a mute label room. Yeah. Well, that'd be fine for me. I'd be all right with that.
That's just called an old people's home, mate.
Well, you know.
No, I'm on your side. The whole idea of going there would just no. I'd be on the same thing, corner of the room, on my phone.
It's nice to be invited to these things, but I'd rather sit down and watch a movie.
See, if you're a constant disappointment to your family like myself, you don't get invited to these things, and therefore you don't get yourself put in a position like that, and it's all good.
Oh, my family don't even acknowledge my existence, so I'm probably one better than you.
Fair enough.
I'm just thinking there's a new armchair in the room, and they go, no, it's got a head on it.
Yeah. There's a fluffy pillow on that. Oh, no. No, I'll try my best to and I'll probably, I'll have a few drinks and stuff like that. Well, but I'm awkward in those situations. I'm awkward. I don't like it.
I do hope you guys, message during the evening. It'd be nice to keep in contact and see how your evening's flowing.
Well, me and Andy will, but
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know how I'm flowing after I've eaten 4 plates minimum of a around the world buffet.
Yeah, don't go swimming in that Thames anybody tomorrow.
So what about you, Adam? What are you doing?
I'm taking. Well, my girlfriend booked a table at the Italian restaurant.
Spoons.
Ask, not Spoons. We're going to Ask Italian in Lewes, East Sussex. So that's 4 children, 2 adults. We're going about 8:30. We're all going to get dolled up and dress up for that, and that'll be lovely. Hopefully we can make it till midnight. That'll be really good if we.
They're all going to go in nappies with dummies.
We're walking.
Onesies.
So I'm going to interrupt. While I think about it, I saw a trailer for a movie that even I don't want to watch on the horror channel called Attack of the Adult Babies. Even I don't want to watch it.
Right, I'm gonna see if I can drop that trailer in here.
I've done the trailer is disgusting. Even I watched it, I thought, no, it's not even for me. I can't watch that.
If we can find that trailer, we'll drop it right at the end after our goodbyes. That'd be funny. Yeah. So, mate, it's been a hell of a year. We've seen a lot of stuff. We've experienced some great times doing the podcast. We've gained a lot of friends through our Facebook group. We've seen our stats go from strength to strength, week in, week out. We're members of the Star Wars Commonwealth Network, which means we're amongst some fantastic podcasters as well. I just can see that 2019 is going to be very positive, and I wish everybody listening to this podcast, including you guys, all the best in our personal lives and work. And yeah, I really do.
Sorry, we're putting you off, aren't we? Oh, look at him.
Do you have a New Year's Eve tradition? Is there anything that I mean, when I was young, again from Gillingham, Melbourne Towns, we used to at New Year's at midnight. No, we used to go out on the street, and all the neighbours would come out and say hello and wish you have a happy New Year. And as time went on, less and less people come out until the last two would come out, and we were it. And I think that kind of thing had changed. People don't do that so much.
But the trouble is, where I live, none of them are allowed out part of their houses after 10 o'clock.
They've all got tabs on. They've all got touch and goes on.
Not really, mate. I mean, New Year's has never really been a big thing for me, to be honest with you. I mean, that's why we go out for dinner and just sort of spend some time together, really. But I mean, generally, my wife's at bed by 11:30. My daughter's already asleep, and she's giving me a naughty look now. Sorry?
I stay up till midnight.
She stays up till midnight, yeah, right.
12:03.
12:03. But yeah, I mean, we just don't really do it, to be honest, mate. I mean, it's it's like, especially when you've got littler ones as well, because my daughter's only 5. So for the last four years, she wants to start till 12. She's asleep. And before that, I didn't have a daughter. I was going out getting absolutely bladdered for New Year's.
I've never been out on a New Year's.
Many
always hated Christmas and New Year's. I just used to stay in and be a proper Grinch and avoid everyone.
How you've grown.
I would say for
now I do the same thing. I'm just fat.
I would say for at least, well, I mean, certainly the last 2 years I haven't done, but for about 3 or 4 years I was going up to London and standing on the embankment with a mate, watching the fireworks and things like that. It just got too crazy, and certainly getting home was just becoming impossible. I've done many a New York New Year's Eve. I
watched the balls drop.
Yeah, indeed. I think I spent one New Year's Eve. One New Year's Eve in Cairo, which was pretty amazing. But
is that club in Brighton?
I spent a New Year in Melbourne. Sorry?
I made my New Year's resolutions 2 weeks ago, pretty much. I kind of knew that there was a lot of things next year that I wanted to be more involved with, and certainly more positive. I certainly want to change my diet and get fit, which is what a lot of people say they will do on January the 1st. But I pretty much have been vaping less, and I've been thinking more about how I'm going to get myself fit, because I'm getting towards my, the 50 mark, and I want to try and get myself a little bit mentally and physically fit. I certainly want to finish off my Star Wars last 3 figures I want to get, and that's what.
Better do, mate. Time's ticking.
I want to do it. But yeah, there's things like there's some things like going out with my children for weekends away. Certainly, camping with you guys is something that we've spoken about, and meeting up personally a little bit more, which is something I'm really happy about doing with you guys. I think that'd be fantastic. But yeah, I think you're right, mate. I don't think the sort of community neighborhood thing doesn't happen anymore. I don't think, but certainly I think a lot of people sort of like a date to start and stop something, and January the 1st is certainly one of those dates.
It's like you never start a diet on a Thursday. It's always a Monday. It's like, we'll get the weekend out of the way and we'll start the diet on Monday. Well, just start it now. I think that New Year's resolutions are a fine idea, but no one ever sticks to them. I mean, again, I've spent years in gyms, and January's horrible because there's a load of people that just don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And the gyms are flooded with people who don't want to be there, that aren't
Ruining
enjoying
the
themselves
equipment,
anyway.
taking over the equipment for people that
No,
actually
no,
do want to be there.
but the thing is, I think the sad part of it is that if more people went to the gym, they'd enjoy it if it wasn't full of people who didn't want to be there. Just go in February or go in November and try and enjoy that kind of thing. You know, people saying, "Oh, I'll stop smoking in January." Just stop smoking, because just, you know, I'm not one for New Year's. There's things I want to do next year, obviously, but it's not a New Year's resolution. It's just the fact that stuff needs to be done, and I think. I sound like a right old Grinch again, don't I? New Year's resolution, but just do so. You know, I kind of think people going, I'm going to wait till the new year before I do this, that, or the other. Just do it.
I think it's the labelling. I think you're right. I mean, I've been spending like the last few days talking to my wife about I want to make some changes in the new year to the things I do, but they're gradual things that take time over the year. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to become a vegetarian, and I'm not saying that I'm going to do this and that, but my outlook of next year is to really sort of make an impact more environmentally. Yes. I am environmentally minded, and I started to realise now I've been thinking about how much waste there is. So I said to her, reduce my carbon footprint. The impact of eating meat on your carbon footprint is redonkulous, but at the same time, I bloody well love a burger. Right, so I'm not going to become vegetarian, but I'm going to be more mindful of the things that I do eat, where it's sourced from, and how often I do it. Excellent. I can eat vegetarian meals 4 or 5 times a week because I used to be vegetarian. I'm quite happy to do so. It doesn't taste any better or worse. But when I go out, or if someone goes around someone's house and they say to me, "Do you want some ribs?" Crack on. Right, I'm going to eat those ribs. But on that same note, I said to her, we're going to buy a recycling bin, you know, the ones for your kitchen. And I said, we've really got to start making more of an effort. Because people always say, oh, yeah, but unless everyone does it, it's not worthwhile. Yeah, unless people start doing it, it's never going to make a difference. So
great point.
That is my outlook for next year, was because I used to be really good. And I actually noticed it the other day, and I really got annoyed. I'm going to chastise myself on this podcast with it as well. I actually threw some rubbish on the floor, and I stopped and went back and picked it up. I thought, what the hell did I just do that for? Right? Because it really wound me up that I did that. And I thought, is this where I live now? Is that I'm willing to do that? And I mean, when I was down in Cornwall on holiday, I wouldn't even throw a cigarette butt on the floor. Like literally every time I went to do it, I was like, put it in my pocket, and when I found the next bin, I threw it in the bin. And that's more conscious of that.
I did a little while ago. I was at a level crossing, and bearing in mind that I drive a little car, so people don't expect me to be in this tiny little car. And I was looking in the rearview mirror, and the car behind me just chucked a load of rubbish out of his window, just chucked it all up. And next to him on the road, on the path, was a bin.
Yeah.
And I sat there waiting for this train. And I thought, no, I can't do it anymore. And I squeezed myself out of the car, and I picked up all the rubbish, and I knocked on his window, and he really scarily wound it down and was like, yes. I was like, I think you dropped this. The bin's just the other side. And I made him get out and put it in the bin.
Wonderful.
I wouldn't have argued with you, but the thing is, I think if you'd have done that to me, I'd have actually been like, "You're bloody right, mate. I'm sorry." Like that when I threw, it wasn't anything big. Like it was literally a bit of paper off of something. But I thought to myself, "What did I do that for? How lazy is that? I couldn't just shove it in my pocket." And that worried me. My mindset had gone to that point where I was not happy to do it, but I naturally did it. And I thought, well, no, it shouldn't be the case, and that's why I'm going to make a concerted effort.
Retrospectively, do you remember the publicity of Keep Britain Tidy in the 70s and 80s? I mean, it was a huge push, wasn't it? Along with, you know, the crossing the road with the Green Cross man, Dave Prowse. I think we're all going forward starting to really be very conscious of our surroundings, our environment, and just the packaging generally. I mean, the amount of packaging for over Christmas has been quite horrendous, hasn't it? The amount of boxes and plastics that, you know, are wrapping the gifts, all the wrapping paper that you know, I put in a big black plastic bag. None of that was recyclable. All was going to either landfill or an incinerator.
Straight into my incinerator, mate.
Yeah, so I think
that.
I think this is the one thing. Let's all be more positive for next year. Let's be a little more conscious.
Do you know where this actually all stemmed from as well? Was one quote I read the other day, and it was actually it was hilarious, and I don't know why it affected me, but it was Willie Nelson, a quote from Willie Nelson that I read online, and he said, I think it's time for our younger generations to start thinking about the future and what they're going to leave behind for me and Keith Richards. Right, and I read that and I cracked up, and it kind of sparked this thing in my head, and I thought, yeah, you're not wrong. You and Keith have bought us a lot. I'm gonna have to look after you, but yeah, you're right, mate. Bit more positivity and change.
Well,
if I have a resolution, it's to badger Adam every week until he watches Forrest Gump.
Okay, I'm on that, but that's my second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you will love Forrest Gump, and that you'll love it. Just watch it. We're going to keep at you. Just do it.
I promise.
How much is it on Blu-ray or DVD?
If I see it in a charity shop, I will 100% buy it, and I will be doing my review.
We've got your address. We're going to buy it, and we'll send it to you
on the Retro Inc. podcast.
Amazon Prime.
He's looking out.
How much is
it? That's it. You'll get your.
I don't love you that much.
It'll be 86p probably.
That should have been one of you two's highlights. Your presents at Christmas, cheeky bag.
But that's just part of joining the podcast. That's just the crowning thing.
Forrest Gump DVD.
So let's just
see. We're going CX. We get it in CX. Don't worry.
We'll get it.
50p.
Bugger right off.
Andy, I wish you a very happy, successful, positive 2019. Jeremy,
I hope so, mate. Because if it all goes wrong for me, this podcast ain't happening.
Jeremy, I'll see you in a fortnight, in the week after next, for a little meet up. And I wish you all the very best and success for 2019. Our listeners, thank you so much for your help, support, comments, and interaction with Retro.
Acquaintance be forgot. Carry on. Sorry.
This has been the Retro Inc.
Because tonight we're gonna party like it's 19. No, he couldn't help that one. He couldn't get angry with his prince.
Thanks so much for listening. This has been Retro Inc. Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Later.